It's Friday, June 26th. We're going to build some ASP.NET Core stuff today just for fun. I've been talking to some people about trying to get my regular expression library site updated and working again. It has been a while since it's worked, so it's got a few issues. And used to be this was like the top regular expression website around. But through neglect, it has kind of receded a little bit. But it still gets a decent amount of traffic on Google Analytics, so we'll see what we can do to fix it up a little bit. Let's see, get the chat going. My goal for today, I've got a couple hours, is to get this thing up and running, maybe even deploying to a new endpoint subdomain. So something like beta.regexlib.com or something like that, some subdomain. Why does it say my stream is offline in my chat? That's weird. Let's check this. Well, it says I'm streaming. There we go. It says I'm streaming. Alright, we're good. Cool. Alright, so let me finish running through my checklist. Everything looks good here. I should do the little thing on my Twitter. I think I just did. If we go look at my profile, yep, it's got the little red dot on it. Perfect. Music is playing, chatty is running, microphones are working. Cool. Alright, we're done with that. Alright, so today we're going to basically do the starting steps you need to do to create a new ASP.NET Core website for a real project. Because that's what I intend for this to be, is a real project. So it's not your typical file new ASP.NET Core project in Visual Studio that you're just going to do for some demo that you're throwing away, which I do all the time. But instead, for something that you want to keep around, you want to consider where you're going to store the source code and how you're going to structure the files and the projects and the solution. If you're building something really simple, then maybe you don't need a whole solution, right? But I anticipate that this has enough stuff going on with it that I will want to have a proper solution. And this site is literally 20 years old, so it's not something that I expect to go away real soon. It might still be there 20 years from now. So I'm going to try and build it right with this. It used to be this thing actually made a decent chunk of money from advertising, but as you can see looking at it, one, it's a little bit ugly, but two, it doesn't have any ads on it because all the ads are broken. So that'll be one of the things we'll try and fix once we get it going. The source code for this existing site is actually out there on GitHub already, but it's not wired up to anything. There's no continuous integration or anything to deploy it. This thing's just hosted on a VM out on Azure as an old ASP.NET Classic site. So when I'm starting up a new web application for a real project, usually the first thing I want to start with is going to be a GitHub repository or wherever you're hosting it. But I'm a real big fan of GitHub. So I'm going to go out to github.com. I'm going to try and spell it right. I'll go to my Ardalis account, and we're going to create a new repository. So first thing we're going to do is look at the existing repository for this thing. So there's a regexlib thing out there already. And I actually was thinking about doing this over a year ago, like a year and a half ago. And so I found the source code for it and I threw it in here. So there's just this backup of the site. And it's got the database and it's got a zip file of the code. Like that's literally all that's out there. So I'm not sure we're even going to use that. We may take a look at it at some point before we go live. I'm going to want to be able to like import the existing data of regular expressions. But I don't want to necessarily inform my design decisions based on what I thought was a good idea 20 years ago. Or maybe not quite that long. It was rewritten a few times since it was first created. But definitely I want to rethink it from scratch. Alright, so we're going to keep this regexlib in mind, but we're going to create a new one. And since I can't call it that, we're going to call it regexlib.com. I could create a template. Start with the template. I don't have a good template that I want to use. Okay. Reg regexlive.com. Can I put a dot in there? Do I want to put a dot in there? I guess I can. Sure, we'll put a dot in there. Source code for the regexlive.com. Regular expression library site. And it's public, and it has a README, and it's going to have a Visual Studio git ignore, and we're going to give away the farm with MIT license. We're not going to use Azure pipelines. Sure, we'll let ImageBot do its thing, and we'll create this. So that looks good. Everything is me. So let's do that. I always like to create the repository on GitHub and then clone it, because it's easier to sync that up on my local than if I start locally and then try and push it up to GitHub. So now that I have this thing, I can just copy the URL either with SSH or HTTPS, and I can go to my GitHub location here, open up PowerShell, which I can't spell, like that. That'll open it right in that folder. We say git clone right there. We'll cd to regexlive.com, and we're in there. All right. So currently there's nothing there. There's just our git ignore and our license file. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is start from a good starting point, and for me that's going to be my clean architecture template. So I'm going to go back to github.com, like Ardalis, and it should be right here on the home page. We're going to hit clean architecture, and normally I would clone this and work on it as its own separate repo, but in this case I just want to use it as a starting point. And for that I don't need any Git access with it. So there's a couple different things you can do. You can install the Visual Studio template to use it, and then it'll show up here. It's got this weird negative looking view of my avatar in the dark theme, but it's relatively recent, but it's not the latest version of the code. It only gets updated periodically, a few times a year that the template gets updated. So I'm going to actually download the repo so that I have the latest version. So we're just going to come up here and we're going to grab the download zip option and go open this, and we'll right click on it, properties, we want to unblock it. Okay, and we're going to extract all, and we'll just browse to, I think I'll just drop it right where our thing is. It's regexlive.com. We'll see what that does. I may need to move some things around, but we'll try just extracting it right there. Alright, so now in here we have this clean architecture master and then everything under it. I probably want to move all that stuff up one, I think. So I want this stuff to all be up top. So I don't want to overwrite the README though, so I don't care about the Azure pipeline. So I just want, we'll take, do I need .github? No, I don't need that either. We'll take those three things and the solution file, pull them out, put them here, and then delete what's left over. Alright? So the one downside to doing it this way and not doing it from the template is that it doesn't rename anything. So everything's going to be called clean architecture until I change it. But that's not that big a deal. So we should be able to see all our tests run. Go away, independ. So let's verify that. And we're good. Everything built. Let's go tests. Everything passes. Alright, so now we're just going to do some renaming of things. So we'll call this regexlive, and each one of these we'll rename as well. There's no quick way to do this. So this is where the template's actually helpful. Although it doesn't always work either. Sometimes it doesn't get everything renamed. Now I'm hoping that doing it this way is going to change the file names and update the solution file to point to the new file names. Hey, how's it going? Is that Chris? I'm taking it you're on the West Coast, because for me it's just barely afternoon. Alright, that'll build still. If we do a quick search for clean architecture, it's gonna be everywhere. So we're gonna do Control-Shift-H on that, and we'll just replace it with regex live everywhere in the entire solution. Just say only whole word, go. And that just is going to touch 50 or 100 files. 134 files, alright. And we'll see what that does. Let's try and build. Building will save everything. And we're done. Alright, so that was not too bad. Resharper is good for that. Yeah, Resharper is not bad. But this wasn't too painful, right? I mean, that took, like, what, less than 5 minutes, and we're all set. So that's not terrible. Let's try and run it. We'll make this our startup project. And run. And there we go, it runs. View items, there's our list. Go see Swagger. Swagger's all set up, it's all good. Maybe it would be cool to use Blazor on this regex live thing. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get this committed. We'll use Visual Studio for this. And we'll add this initial version, starting from clean architecture template. Commit 300 files, sync, push. Yes on Blazor, yeah, of course on Blazor. And we're good. Alright, so now if we look back out here and we hit refresh, we should see a bunch of stuff. Alright, there's all our stuff. Good. Okay, so now I would like to have some GitHub Actions on here right away. I think we'll start that. We'll just steal it from another project. So I've got another project that I'm currently deploying out to Azure automatically. GitHub's being slow today. Come on, GitHub. Wake up. There we go. And that's the DevBetter website, which goes to devbetter.com. I want to do basically the same thing with this. Man, where is it? I thought it would be like right there at the top. I guess I haven't touched it in a while. Oh no, that's not it. I moved it. That's why. It's in a different org. So it's in this org. And it's right there. So devbetter.com, DevBetter website is right there. And here's my workflow to build it. That's the default one. Just runs on pull request, and this one will publish it to Azure Web App. So we're going to want both of those. I think the default one I can just do easily enough here. Set up a .NET Core. Looks kind of like that. Let's see. Workflows, .NET Core. I want it to be on pull requests, and basically want it to do exactly this. So copy this out. And is there anything here? I mean, I'm okay with it running on Ubuntu or Windows. I think the only reason that the other one is on Windows is because it's hosted on a Windows app. Not stealing. I'm stealing from myself. It's okay. So let's do this, and let's just start it on Ubuntu, because why not? And it's only going to work on pull requests, so that's fine. And let's start this and commit. Okay, so then I need to get latest here. So we'll do a pull. Okay, good. And then let's do a pull request. So in my, hey, Jaime Rodriguez, thanks for the follow. In here we're going to start ripping some things apart. So we got our pages, we got our views, we got home controller, index. I don't really like using controllers and views for that kind of thing. So if I'm going to have a home page, I'm going to probably make it a Razor page. So we'll just do this, add Razor page, default Razor page, name it index. Is that all I need to do? Page model, blah blah blah, use a layout. Do I have a layout? Be nice if I could do that and see it, but probably I have a layout in shared pages. I don't know. I guess we'll leave layout blank. Or leave it empty. Fine. Do your thing. Alright, I'm going to basically get rid of the default boilerplate that's in clean architecture and instead put in something here that says regex lib. And that's it. So it's my home page, regex lib. Good to go. And then I can rip out home index. I can rip out home controller, maybe? I can at least get rid of the index. I'm still using that error endpoint as it stands now. But I'll probably rip that out too at some point. And there's my error, there's my layout. Interesting. I may want that. I need to update that. But that's good enough for now. I want to test and see if my build works. So, building locally, everything works. Running locally, we see now my new page. That's good. Let's create a pull request. So over here, we're going to switch our branch, new branch. We're going to go to Ardalis, new home page, create a branch. I'm going to go back here, find my changes, create Razor page home page, commit all the things, sync it, push it. There's no easy way to do a pull request directly in Visual Studio that I know of. There probably is an extension or some way to do it. But I'm going to come over here. That's the wrong one. I'm going to come over here. It's going to tell me, hey, here's this thing you can do a pull request on. I'm going to say yes. I want to create that pull request. And then I want to see if my GitHub action works. Which, there it goes. Boom. And then I can turn on branch protection settings, so I can say I can't merge this thing unless this build succeeds. It's easiest to do that if you let it run once, though. At least that's my experience. Maybe that's getting better. This shouldn't take long, so if we look at the details, all it's doing is setting up .NET Core, build and test. I actually do have some tests, but they should all pass. Next thing we're going to do is create the web app in Azure. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can do it straight from Visual Studio and just publish directly there. Or you can go out to Azure yourself and use the portal and create everything. Or you can use some kind of a tool like Terraform to set everything up. I am not an expert at using Terraform, so I'll probably just go out to the portal. But we'll look and see what Visual Studio does. Uh-oh, that didn't look good. Not found exception. What did you not find? Build failed. Oh, yeah, that's why. You know what I didn't do? I didn't run my tests locally. And it turns out if you nuke the home page and you have tests that are hitting the home page, they're not going to work. So I need to rip out some tests too, I think. So this is like a home controller index. That's not there anymore. But that should still work. It's just that the thing it's looking for isn't there anymore. So instead of home controller index, let's rename that. I'd still like to have a test that verifies the home page works. But now this is going to be a Razor page test, right? So this is going to be, what is it? Index, root index page. We'll call it that. Returns with correct message, and we expect it to contain not regexlib.web, but just regexlib somewhere in it. That should work. Rename our file. That's one thing ReSharper does for you, is it'll rename the file to match your class. Visual Studio still hasn't caught on that that's a useful feature, because I would use the heck out of that if it let me do it. It lets you do it the other way, but that's not how I usually work. I usually change the class here, and then I want the file to match, because that's what I'm doing. I'm changing the class name. The file name is just incidental. Um, I don't think file first. I don't know if most developers do, because there's certainly no reason why you couldn't have three classes in the same file. But you can't have three files in the same class easily. I mean, you can with partials. But anyway, let's see if this runs. So run this test. Hopefully it works now. Nope. Why not? You're going to say directory not found. Okay. That's weird. In host builder. Alright, so this custom web application factory has issues. Why? It's not happy that I got rid of the views folder or the home controller. Yeah, no, shared is still there. It shouldn't be hitting home controller. Let's see. I clearly broke things moving too quickly. Let's go to the test explorer and see this error message a little bigger. So it is telling me that it cannot find the folder source regix libcom web regix. Oh, that. Okay, that's from my search and replace. All right, so let's look at what the actual folder looks like. So the actual folder still says source cleanarchitecture.web. The folders all have those old names. Alright, so what we need to do is close this and fix the folder structure. So here, I want that, and then basically I want that to match each of these. Cool. Now that just broke the world, or at least my solution. So we're going to edit this with code, because all these clean architecture guys here now need to be regx replace. And I didn't do the ones under tests yet, so I need to fix those too. But that should do the trick. And then we'll go into tests, do the same thing. So here I thought that it would only take 5 minutes to rename things, but I forgot about the folders. So it actually took 6 minutes. Alright, now the moment of truth. Can we open the solution? And we can. Wow. Alright, now can we run our tests? At some point I'll unlock my trial of Endepend so that stops coming up. Uh-oh, build errors. That doesn't look good. Do project dependency break? Because I think I wanted you to have a reference there. Let's see what that does. Yeah, what happened here? You should have had project dependencies on these things. Alright, you're fine. Get with it, Visual Studio. 113 errors. And now we're in there, and those are going away. Maybe I had more project references. Did I have one on these guys? I don't know. Let's try. And shared kernel too. Fine. All the things. Okay. Thank you for the follow, DevDear. 107 errors. Are we getting into a different project yet? Let's just do a rebuild, because you're clearly confused. 104 errors, that's better. Now we're into integration tests. Good. Let's go look at those. You have the wrong thing here. I'll give you that. But you're also missing references to other things. So let's go here, add project reference. You need infrastructure and maybe web? No, I don't know. Let's just try infrastructure. I think that's maybe all you need. 108 errors, but that's not true. You're going to update. If I rebuild. Oh, come on. Alright. You thought that was an error, but it's not. Let's add another project reference to core. I think the issue is I haven't fixed up unit test dependencies. If I fix that one up, it'll cascade, because it has the dependency on core. I think that's all you need. So let's try one more time. Still 107. Rebuild. Now 117. Progress in the wrong direction. Alright. You don't see where this is. You still need shared kernel. There we go. So, stop it. There, reference, shared kernel. Okay, let's do unit tests the same way. One more time. 118 errors. Okay. Did my dependencies get broken everywhere? Is that the problem? Yes. Alright, fine. Web probably has some too. Let's see. You need shared kernel. Now this should fix a lot of things. No. Down to 96 errors. Alright, so changing folder structure nuked all my project references, but now they're all happy again. Alright, so let's, whatever I just did, let's commit that. Seems like we changed a lot of stuff. Looks like we changed literally everything because we just refactored the folder structure. So I want to change branches again though. So let's do a new branch. And I'm branching off my old branch that's already got a PR out there. I did not use ReSharper for my renaming because I don't have ReSharper installed on Nibro. What am I doing here? Rename folders. Let's do that. Create that branch. I guess I could have just added to the old branch because I don't think I accepted that PR yet. But this will work too. So let's go to changes, commit everything, renaming folders to regex lib, commit, sync, push. Okay, now let's go sort this out on GitHub. This one didn't actually work. I suppose I should have stayed on that branch, huh? Let's be tricky here. Let's do a pull request to the original branch, because why not? So we'll compare and pull request rename folders. Instead of going into master, we'll go into new homepage, create that. This will all make sense once that test passes. While we wait for it to build there, let's see if it actually runs here, because we should have done that already, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to work. So we're going to have another commit to make. Green, green. Hey, it all worked. Good, good. Sometimes things work out. So, this thing should run and pass also. We'll see. This says I want to merge into master. I thought I said I was going to merge into the other branch though. Reference project, clean, shared kernel. Where's that coming from? Regex Lab core. Oh, I didn't add that. Okay. So over here, in Solution Explorer, in core, add project. That is there. Alright. It's there, so maybe it's just something's out of date. Alright, cool. Everything's green. Good. So we can go back to our pull request. We have the renaming of the folders, which it still says master. I'm pretty sure I told it to go into the other one. We'll have to check the video when I'm done. But that's fine. We're just going to go into master with this one. So we'll merge it. Everything's in the master. We can delete this branch. We can nuke the other pull request because it's out of date now. And it just got nuked automatically. Great. We can come over here. We can say, let's go back to master. And let's do a sync pull. And we're all back up and running, and we verified that our GitHub actions are working. So now we want to either get work done on the actual project or push. Yeah, I did not choose master. Why did it change? I don't know. Let's say it's a bug in GitHub. It's confusing me too, Shady. So it is weird. Let's see. Let's add some issues just to track our work here a little bit. So we want to create an Azure web app to deploy to. That's good enough. We want to add a publish GitHub action to publish to Azure. Submit. New issue. Then what should we do once we get it published? We need some actual features for our site. So on our site, we have a homepage that shows some stuff. We have a search. I haven't yet decided whether the homepage is just going to be static HTML or, a Blazor app or whatever. But there needs to be support for login. So I think we need to get identity working at some point. So let's configure ASP.NET Core identity for the solution. Submit that. Currently we don't have any of that, so we'll do that. Alright, so let's go out to Azure. We'll log in with my account. I don't care about my recommendations. What do I have currently? Search for regex. Do I have anything? I have nothing. Alright, so we're going to create a new app service. So app service, and I've got a few of them out there. I'm going to add a new one, and it's going to go on some subscription, and my resource group is going to be some new resource group. Create new. We'll call it regex live resource group. So, okay. We go to web app name. We call it regexlive.com.azurewebsites.net. That sounds good. Publish the code. I could make it a Docker container, but we'll just publish the code. Runtime will be 3.1 on Linux, because why not? Let's go East US. That all looks good. Linux should be fine. Linux plan. We'll create a new app service plan. We'll call it regex live service plan. Service plan. Okay. Premium V2. Yeah, no. Let's make this as cheap as we can get. F1 free is good enough for now. That's good. So we could look at monitoring, or we could just review and create. I think we can review and create. So no application insights, super cheap free plan just because we're testing this thing out. It's going to be on It's going to publish the code, not a container. It's going to be a web app. It's got new resource groups, new service plans, running Linux. That all looks good. Create. Okay, so that's deploying. Now while that's going on, we can come back over here. We can go look at our actions. We can add a new workflow. We're going to set up that workflow there. We're going to call this thing publish.yaml. We're going to steal the code from my other thing over here again. Over here, workflows, publish, and grab everything we have here and stick it in here. Okay, now I need to know some things, like the web app name, which I just set up here. The web app, that's, I don't know what that is. Azure group name, what did I call that? Let's do another search for regex lib. Of a resource group, regex lib resource group. I think that's what I want. Group name, lib resource group. Is that what I did? Resource group. Yep, that looks good. Somewhere in there, I want to see my app service. It's still setting it up though. There it is, regexlib.com. So web app name is just regexlib.com. Secrets.azure credentials, I need to get some of those. But this is good enough for now. So let's start this commit and do that. This won't actually work yet because I don't have those credentials yet in my secrets. If I come over here into settings and look at my secrets, we'll see there are no secrets. But if I do the same thing over here, settings and secrets, we'll see that there is an Azure Web Publish App Profile thing and Azure Credentials thing. I don't know if I need both of those or not, but I definitely need Azure Credentials. Is the other one being referenced? Workflows, publish, Azure Credentials, Azure Web App Name. The other one doesn't seem to be referenced, so I just need Azure Credentials. Okay, so there's a post somewhere. It might have been me. Ardalis. Did I keep a post of this? Azure Credentials. Usually I blog things when I figure something out. That's from 2013. That's not going to be right. Nope. Let's do Azure Credentials, GitHub action. Azure login. This sounds promising. Yeah, okay, this is what I did. So this is how you do the deployment with GitHub. You need to create a service principal. You need to fill out this information here. So we're going to copy this, and we can go to the Azure Cloud Shell in the Azure portal by selecting the Try It button. Where's that at? Is that this? Cloud Shell. There we go. And then we just need to know some things, some names of things. So I'm going to paste this in. Paste. Alright, Azure AD SP create for RBAC name my app. What is my app? Subscription ID, resource groups, group name, stuff I need here. Subscription ID is going to be that. So it goes here. Well, you will not let me paste, will you? Alright, let's build this thing in Notepad, I guess. Alright, so back here, we want to copy that and paste it in here. And then we want to edit this to be correct. So, name, Azure DSP create name. This is going to be a service principal. So, regex lib service principal, maybe? Contributor, scopes, subscription ID is going to be this GUID. that goes here. The group name is right here as well, Regex Lab Resource Group. That goes right here. And is that it? Oh wait, app name. App name was Regex Lab Com, I think, right? That's going to be the same as that. Alright, so with all those things filled in, I should be able to run this. And the trick is I don't want you to see it run. So come down here. There we go. Paste it. Still won't let me paste. Paste it like that. We'll just pull this over. Actually, I've got a scene switcher. I can do this, and then you can just see me for a minute. And we can run this thing. And creating a role assignment. Looks like it's working. And it just gave me a whole bunch of stuff. And now if I go back to the docs, it says configure a GitHub secret, call it Azure credentials, paste the contents for the downloaded published profile file into the secrets. Okay, so, and then use the published profile. Okay, so let me see. I need to go back to my GitHub secrets, settings, secrets, new secret, Azure credentials, value becomes, so this is confusing because there's an Azure credentials and there's an Azure web app published profile. And the docs don't really make it clear which one of these we're doing. Okay, so what goes into the service principal? MB Crump just raided. Hey everybody. We are trying to create a service principal in Azure at the moment as we build a ASP.NET Core app. So let me try and finish that and then I'll switch back to sharing my screen. I don't think this is what I want. Azure Web App Published Profile might be what I want. Alright, let me switch back to that. There we go. Hey, thanks for the follow, Dave Hats 23. We are building an ASP.NET Core app that's going to replace this regexlive.com site that's been around forever. Apparently it's so old it doesn't even run HTTPS, but we're going to fix that at some point. So we're actually just getting ready to deploy it to Azure, and so I'm trying to set up CI/CD with GitHub Actions. So I've got this set up here, and trying to configure it now in my GitHub action to push this thing. So deploying the app service here, I want to say Azure deploy. I don't need all that node stuff, but I need that secret, I think. So let's go over here, let's go back to my actions, publish, just failing at the moment, but that's fine. I want to edit this thing. So I guess we go to the code here. Hey, Michael Crump, what did you guys work on today? Were you doing some Azure stuff, some Blazor stuff? What was it? Something fun? Alright, so this is going to run on Windows. We'll do the build and test again. We'll log in with Azure credentials that I just set up, and then we'll deploy to the Azure app name. So let's see if that will work. This should run anytime we push to master anything. So if I just do a new push to the README file even, that should be enough to kick off a build. Let's do Azure hosted version is at, where is that? Get out of here. It says run on Windows, not Linux. Alright, hang on a sec. Alright, let's see, where were we? I'm trying to get the GitHub action to work, and hopefully sound is all back. Let's go back to this one. Alright. We've got regexlive.com. I was just going to push this link, was what I was looking for. So we're going to copy that address. We're going to come over here. We're going to put that link in there and commit it. And that should kick off the build. Country Music Lady. Hello, Ardalis. Do you have any Giadu? Don't know. Wooden cases on the shelf behind you. Oh, those were actually for a game. Kel 28. Those are for Dominion card game. But yeah, they're nice. And I don't know what Country Music Lady is asking. Alright, so this should get me out to the site. But more importantly, pushing that should have kicked off the build so we can diagnose why it's probably not working. There we go. Alright, good. So our site is live. We haven't actually deployed anything to it yet, so this is just the placeholder. Let's go back to here. Let's go look at our actions. I want to diagnose what's up with publish. So publish is right here. It's doing its job. Build and deploy. All this stuff should pass. Login might pass. Simon, how's it going, man? I am building a new version of regular expression library, which has been around for a while and lets you search for expressions like zip codes, regular expressions that match, let's say, zip codes. So like here's a few different zip code regular expressions you could use. You can test them out. You can run them in here and see what matches, what doesn't. You can see like here's things that it does match, here's things that it doesn't match. Stuff like that. So this site's been around since forever ago. Yeah, library as in books, yeah, or as in a collection of regular expressions. I created this like in 2000 in like ASP before ASP.NET was even around. And it's been rewritten a couple times, but it was basically like, why reinvent the wheel every time you need a regex? Most of the things that you would need a regex for already exist somewhere. So let's, just use those, not have to figure it out from scratch every time. Wow, this is being slow. A minute and a half. And it doesn't want to show me what it's doing. So that's what we're working on. But at the moment, we're trying to get it to work, yeah, like connectionstrings.com. Yep. I think it's older, actually. Connectionstrings.com has been around for a long time, but I think Regex Live predates it. I'd have to check the Wayback Machine and find out. Alright, so come on, build and test. This setting up .NET Core 3.1, it's taken forever. KJ Miller, thanks for the follow. Alright, so what I really need is to get the right secret in there, and this part was throwing me, because there's Azure credentials here, but then there's Azure App Publish Profile, and I don't know which one I'm supposed to use or what's supposed to go in each one. This doc is not very good. It says configure a service principal. I did that. And then in this example, replace these things with those things. Copy this JSON object, which you can use to authenticate from GitHub. Alright. So then go download the publish using the get publish profile option. I don't think I did that. And then add a new secret. But what did I do with those credentials? I think the publish profile is a different thing. So let me see if I can do that. Come over here on another monitor. We'll say get publish profile. There. Ooh, I just downloaded it. Show it in the folder. Open that with code. And there's the whole profile. And it's got passwords and stuff in it. Alright, maybe that's what I needed. So copy that. And we'll come over here, and that's going to fail to publish, right? Yeah. Alright, so we want to go to my settings. We'll bring this over to the other monitor real quick so I can edit that secret for the publish profile. And update that with those credentials. Okay, but I still don't think I'm using that. Alright, so that's good to go. And so if I want to use this YAML, I can use the publish profile. So let's try that. Let's copy that YAML. Come back over here, go look at my workflow, publish, and edit. And this YAML looks different than that. Okay, so this is Azure Web Apps Deploy v1. This is Azure Web Apps Deploy v2. And I think this replaces these two. I think if I get rid of those two, I can use this one. So let's try that. Yeah, we'll just delete them. I can always get them back later. And so this probably needs a name. Uses name. Do I need to run something? How does that work? Name login uses this with this. Name uses with, okay. Alright, so I'll just need to give it a name. We'll call it name. Like that. Alright, so let's see what that does. Commit those changes. Alright, so what is the existing site made with? Oh, okay, I'm behind on here. Surly Dev says, hey, you created Regex Lab. Yes, that was me. Apologies that it doesn't look great at the moment, because I haven't updated it in forever. And you've used it lots of times. Awesome. What is the existing site made with? I actually have the source code out on GitHub. I showed folks this at the start of the stream, but you're forgiven for not being here at the time. And it's here, and it's literally just a zip file backup. So there's the database. So you can kind of see, here's what the current database looks like with a script. It's rather long. It's using ASP.NET membership. It's currently ASP.NET, probably like 2.0. You know, it's from like 2009, something like that. And then the zip file here that you can download if you want. So I haven't touched it in forever. It's just out there, just running. It hasn't needed anything, really. Or if it has, I haven't done it. So, alright, so there's that. Let's see. That action also should have kicked off another publish. And it's failing. It says every step must define a uses or run key. Okay. So clearly, this is not all I need, is it? Now in the workflow file, replace the secret of this deploy. Okay. Show me the whole thing. Setup.net. Build. Deploy using the publish profile. Uses this with this name. So I need that. Is that what I need? Uses that with that. I think that's what I have. I think it's just not indented correctly. So let's come back over to here, here, edit. And you're saying that you want something that looks like this. So steps uses this, name uses with, name run, name uses with, name uses with. Okay. Do you need the app name? Is that the problem? I don't want that. That's in the profile. Yeah, these are the same. I don't know what the error is I'm getting. I think that dash is the problem. I think that's my issue right there. Stupid YAML. Alright. KJ Miller, hey, how's it going, man? So what is the existing site made with? I did that. told you that. So, are you upgrading it or starting from scratch? I'm starting from scratch. I need to migrate the data, but I'm starting from scratch as far as the design of the site. I have some folks that I work with that are looking for a good project to collaborate on, and this seems like a decent one to try. Alright, so we check that in. Let's see if it's at least going to compile as YAML now. Looks like yes. It didn't fail immediately, so that's good. I'm going to wait for it to set up .NET Core again. That's slow. Alright, while that's running, is there anything we can be doing? Why do I have 10 issues? I didn't create 10 issues. You guys been helping me out? Oh no, that's the old one. DevBetterCom. That's DevBetterWeb, that's why. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Regex Live has 3 issues, that's what I gave it. Good. Alright. Don't need that. This has been minimally helpful. Opportunity for folks to get their GitHub profile built up and get their names on OSS project. Yeah, exactly. Also an opportunity for me to crowdsource this thing. So, like, one of the reasons why it's been sitting idle for a dozen years is because I've been busy. And, you know, maybe if some other people help out with this, it'll get done. Alright, so let's go back to the actions and where'd it go? I thought it was running. This was 11 minutes ago, that's not the one. Did I change the wrong one? That would be dumb of me if I did. I think I did. I think I changed the wrong one. Remember when I was surprised by the issues? GitHub.com, right, DevBetter, that. 3 minutes ago I changed DevBetter's thing and made it do something different. That's not what I wanted. But did it work? That's the question. It's still trying to publish. It might still work. So this is actually publishing to DevBetter, which is not at all what I'm trying to do. But if it works, I'm going to leave it alone, because it's using a newer version of the publish action anyway. So if this works, we'll just borrow the code back over into Regex Live. Oops. That's what I get for trying to move quickly. Alright, so in here, we're in DevBetterWeb. We want to grab this, publish to Azure Web App Deploy v2, copy that. Let's wait and see whether this is going to work, but while we're waiting, we can go here, we can edit this one. Hey Surly Dev, go make dinner. Alright, yeah, so this one's still v1, we want to edit this. Azure Web App name, that's this one. Alright, yeah, I think I can replace all of this, get out of the way, all of that, we can delete. This YAML is so hard to edit. And paste here. Alright, so now we have published to Azure, there, that all looks good. Let's commit that. Tony Davis, did you generate the new code from your CleanArc solution template? I did. Yep, that was the first thing we did at the start of the stream, and we renamed everything so it would work. And it looks like this now. So here's, everything says Regex Live now. We've got a default home page that works, so when we run it, it just says, wait for it, it just says boom, file not found. That's not what it said before, but I guess I have to fix that. It's supposed to just say Regex Live. Regex Live, yeah, man. Old school. Have they got more official first-party actions yet with some docs? Some, but not a lot. Hey, this published Azure thing looks like it might work. That would be cool if it works. Alright, so this is deploying to devbetter.com, which we're accidentally updating. But hey, if it works, that's cool. And meanwhile, over here, we're also trying to see if this works. This is deploying to Regex Live application, whatever, azurewebsites.net. So this is still building. These builds take forever. I wish they would have a .NET Core configured build agent just sitting there ready to go instead of setting it up from scratch every time. Simon, you added a PR on the result project. Is that recent? Was that just today? GitHub, Ardalis, result. Sup, MB Crump. Oh, you're finally going to talk to us? Thanks for the raid earlier. What were you working on earlier today? Pull request from Simon from May 18th. Oh yeah, that was real recent. Sorry, I'm jumping right on that. Does this look good? This is how you get me to check your pull request, is just harass me on the stream. Quick needs to do, blah blah blah. Files change. What are we doing here? Revenue version. Adding some operators. I think I did look at this. I don't know why I didn't just accept it. Even added tests. Look at you. I think that's awesome. Approve this. We're just going to assume that your tests pass. But do I have build set up on this thing? Approval. I don't think I have build set up. So there's no telling if these tests pass because I'm not actually going to run them until next time I pull this locally. But there we go. Merged. Done. Hopefully it works. So do I not have actions on this at all? I do. Okay, they are going to run. Good. And then it will publish. So this might publish to NuGet.org here in a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, there is, Brennan. I just, for whatever reason, it wasn't showing up on the pull request itself. But here it is. So that worked. I just didn't see it. Probably I missed it. But I'm a trusting soul, so works on my machine. There you go. I have to make it a requirement. I think I did, but while we're here, let's go look. So on results, under settings, under branches, we're going to say branch protection rules. There's currently a rule here for master to require status checks. It's there. So I think we're okay. So yeah. So that should be good. It should have required it. And it was from May, so I mean it should have run the build at some point since May, right? So we'll see if this works. Looks like that worked. Is the publish going to work? Maybe. Alright, so if we go to NuGet.org and we search for Ardalis and we look for result, it says nothing. So if that published correctly, and if I'm logged in, which I'm not, when I'm logged in, usually it'll do that. It'll show me that it's validating. So that's cool. So there. You're in there. Yeah, I likely missed it. I agree. Alright, so that was just a bonus thing. This completed, so devbetter.com just got updated, really for no reason, because I didn't change anything. But now its publish script is different. And look, now I blew up the site. That's probably not what I want. So I should probably fix that at some point. Why did that happen? That seems bad. I think I need to roll that back. So if we go back to code, is there an easy way to roll back things in GitHub? Or do I have to actually pull this down locally? So if I go to workflows, and we go to publish, and we say, show me the history, there. That's a new link. 13 minutes ago, whatever. Okay, change to Windows latest. I think this one is probably fine. There should be an option like revert to this. I guess I'll just recommit over it. Show me the whole code. So here's what it looked like on this day. And this worked. So we'll take the raw, we'll grab it all, and then we'll go back, and we'll just hope that things will work. If we go back here, run master, go here, go here, go here, and grab all this, paste in the old one, which theoretically worked. Commit, commit, see if that fixes my site that I did not intend to break. Alright, meanwhile, back over here, this publish failed. Project file does not exist. Alright. Dev Better Web, CS, that's there. What are you talking about? Project file does not exist. Source, Dev Better Web, .web. Oh, no, that's not the right project file. This is regex lib. Alright. Cool. So let's figure out where that's coming from. I've managed to really screw this up. So in here, that's all regex lib. That needs to be regex lib. I couldn't copy paste that. Right, so source. What am I publishing? I'm publishing here. Source should just be. Why are those there? Those shouldn't be there. regexlib.web. Let me edit that. .web and regexlib.web.csproj. Nothing in here should say dev better. Looks good. A few issues as a result does support the idea of warning and info messages that fluent validation results do. So it does or doesn't? It's supposed to. It should support those. ITIS dev better. What are you saying, Shady? ITIS docent. We're also good at spelling on chat today. It is dev better. Yeah, that is the problem. That's better now. So maybe this is going to build properly. Feedback loop on GitHub Actions is a little slow. Alright, so that's going to do its thing. Meanwhile, over here, that's still toast. This one's doing its thing. It's still building. Okay, so we're going to watch GitHub Action Machines spin for a little bit. I haven't tried using Twitch mobile chat. You're not filling me with happy thoughts about using it. Alright. Normally, I swear the last time I set up this stuff, it worked a lot better. So I think this is all just user error on my part. The thing I'm still not sure about from those docs is which things went into which secrets on GitHub. Like, I know where the publish profile goes. That's Android phone, okay. But I'm not sure what goes into that Azure secret. So let me see if I can Google around a little bit more for that and find out what exactly is supposed to go into that. Well, that's using the publish profile, so I guess it won't matter if that works. Hopefully we don't end up like this on regexlib.azurewebsites.net, which we don't know yet. Login, publish, Azure Web Deploy, okay. Who's gonna win? Alright, while all that's happening, let's go back here and look at our issues and see if we've done any of these things. Create an Azure Web App to deploy to. That's done. So close that one. Let's go back to the home page. Let's hit this. That's still there. It's still working. That's good. So let's look at the next issue, which is going to be adding ASP.NET Core identity. So I don't have identity built into the Clean Architecture solution. I do have it in eShop on Web, so that's probably a reasonable place to steal from. So in here, we're going to want to add not just a DB context, and we're probably not going to want to use SQLite, so we'll rip that out as well. But we're going to want to use SQL Server. So let's come into here, and we'll search for eShop on Web. And the thing I like about eShop on Web is that it uses a separate DB context for the identity stuff. So we'll come into its startup.cs. Actually, let's look at its web proj, make sure there's anything we need here for ASP.NET Core identity. There we go, ASP.NET Core identity, entity framework. In fact, we can probably steal all of these things there. So we'll grab all that, come back to regexlib web, and what do I have? I have swashbuckle with annotations, different version. Let's see what this looks like. It's 5.5, 5.3, so that can go away, and that can go away. Tag was not closed. What tag? Oh, really? That's weird. Why was that not closed? Oh, because it has more stuff. That's why. I'm not sure that matters, but let's take all of that for the tools. That's better. Okay, so now let's build this and make sure it can pull everything in. Now let's figure out whatever was causing the home page not to work. Okay, so everything builds. Let's get that home page working. Rip.net. Hi, how's it going? Could not load filer assembly infrastructure. Cannot find regexlib.infrastructure. Slab web program main. Alright. So, program main. Are you doing something with infrastructure? Specifically? No. No. Load regexlib.infrastructure. Well, you should just have a project reference to that. What you do, right there. And that should correspond to regexlib.infrastructure, which it does. So, okay. Clean. Build, rebuild. Alright, we're still getting these issues with referenced projects do not exist. So let's clean those up. So regexlib.core says clean architecture shared kernel does not exist. Okay, let's look at this. Alright, so that should go away. And we'll save that. And then what else? Down here, when we try and build this one, what are we building? Unit tests. Doesn't like stuff. So let's go here. These are all just relics from starting with that other template. I wish there were an easier way to do this. The reference project. Alright, let's just look for clean architecture. So I thought I did this once already. Clean architecture. Find all. Alright, so it's only in these couple of references that somehow got left. Core, shared kernel. I added the other ones, but the old ones are still there. And find results. Web still has issues right there. That's the one it's saying it can't find, I think. So we should be good now. Let's give this a shot. Yay. Okay. So now that works. and that means our test should work. So we're probably failing. Let's run our test, because we have a test that verifies the home page displays something. Tony says, what are the architecture goals for this? Mainly tech stack modernization? Mainly that I could actually deploy to it. Like, I literally have not deployed this site in over 10 years. I have the source as a zip file, but no way to actually easily run it, build it, deploy it. No continuous integration, no tests. It's a site that's still running because it hasn't blown up yet, but there's nothing I can do to update it. And the existing site, if you go look at it, has issues, like right here, you know, what the heck is this? Please support whatever. It's like, that didn't age well. There used to be sponsors, there used to be ads, it used to provide some modest ad revenue, and it still could because it gets a decent amount of traffic every month, but I have no way to update the ads. So, you know, it's just busted. And if you look at some of the features of the site, you know, there's a whole bunch of people that have added a bunch of garbage data to this, and they put in like spammy links to things in here, hoping to get, you know, more traffic for these spammy things. So I need to get rid of all this crap too, right? And ideally make it so that it's not easy to add that crap back in here. So that's the goal. The goal is just to get the site to where I can actually maintain it, clean up the crap, and make it useful again. More useful. Alright, so how are we doing here? This thing actually published to regixlive.com. So, what do I have here? The same thing I had before. Alright. And what do I have here? Is it no longer broken? It's no longer broken. Alright, that's good. So, this one worked. This one doesn't seem like it worked. Like, what did we deploy? Publish to Azure. Azure deploy. Use a zip. Deploy logs can be found here. Successfully deployed the app service to regixlive.com, whatever. Alright, deployment history is there. Can I actually go view that? What does that do? Alright, I don't need dev better anymore. Let's look here. Yeah, what is this telling me? Last successful end time was there. Complete true, active true. Is read-only true. Okay, I don't know what that's supposed to tell me. It wants to say that it deployed. I think if I go into Kudu here, it'll let me actually navigate the site. So like files, what will it show me? Not a lot there. So I'm not sure what it deployed. Yeah, it's just running a default hosting thing. It's not running my code that I can see. So, can I view the? I hit that already. That's that. Browse the folder. Oh, look at this. Alright, so there's my regex solution. I got all my files there. That's good. So why isn't it running? Why is this not hosting it? Browsing into files with VS Code extension is an easy way to see code files. Okay. I have not used the VS Code Azure extension, but that would be handy. But like, here's my www root folder. I'm not sure that I want the whole solution in there. It seems like it published the entire solution when it needed really just to publish the web app. So it's a little weird that it did that. I feel like the publish did more than it should have. Which means I probably configured it wrong. So in regixlive.com, in my publish.yaml, over here, in there, when I say .NET publish, it should have only published this thing, right? Output as a web app. And then this should have published to Azure the web app. And I think maybe I needed to give it, I think this web app name needed to be in here in that with somewhere. I think that's what was missing. But I don't want to use that version anyway, because this one works. So I'm going to try and use the one that works. So we're going to back up and come over here. I'm going to grab the login and the credentials. And we're going to try that over here again. So in regex live, in the publish profile, we're going to edit that. I'm going to say instead of doing this, which doesn't seem to work, for regex live, we're going to paste in this. We're going to use our Azure credentials, which I'm not sure are correct. And we're going to package that web app right there. It's going to be that web app right there. And I don't need any of this. Alright, but I like to have a new line on the last line, so we're doing that. Alright, Azure Web Deploy. This is for regex live, regex lib. This all looks fine now, so we're going to start that commit. Yeah, I think the publish to Azure published the entire repo instead of publishing just the web app. Pick up the output path of the .NET publisher to default to the working folder. Right, exactly. I think it defaulted to the working folder. And the working folder doesn't have the entry point for the web app, and that's why it's not working. Now this time it may not work because I'm not sure if Azure Credentials is configured correctly. And if it's not, I'll need to set that up. It's going to start cleaning up the web app files now. Maybe. You mean these? Yeah. I don't know if there's an easy way to do that. There's probably some way to just nuke it, right? I mean, there's web app. There's all the stuff it deployed when it published. Extension for VS Code. Is that the easiest way to do it? Which extension are you talking about? Is there some Azure extension? Because I'm sure I don't have it. Microsoft Azure. Okay. Not Azure Tools, not Azure Account. There's Microsoft, Azure Account, Azure Repos, Azure Functions, Azure App Service. That sounds like maybe what I want. Is that the one? It's a set of extensions. Yeah. Well, I'm working with an Azure App Service. So, maybe? What do you think? Maybe tools? This doesn't have tools. There's CLI tools. DevSpace. Oh, there's Azure Tools. That extension pack. Okay. It's already installed. Enabled globally. So how do I use it? Sign in requested. No. Yep, that's it. Okay. What do I do with it? It's not that, not that, not that, not that. Azure. Okay, there we go. We should sign into Azure. I'm already signed in. You are now signed in. Alright, good. Now what? I think we put it on there. I think we have regex live. I think we have some files. And that's what we're saying we want to clean up, right? How do I get rid of all this other junk? Get out of my way. Alright, so here, look at all these files. Simon, you are the man. Okay, I don't want these .github files. So, I'd like to be able to delete these things. But apparently this is a read-only view. So, how is this helpful? Because you're right, it would be nice if I could delete here, but I'm not seeing it. Let's try kudu delete files in web app. Files, there's your web app. Kudu Command. Oh, you can do it from the command. Okay. I can navigate around and then somehow do something there. Can I SSH to the instance in Azure? Maybe. Let's see if we get out of here and we just open up a prompt here and we go to where? In the site? There's that. Alright, DL license. You're not going to tab complete, are you? RM. Cannot remove. Oh, because why not? I don't know. RM readme.md. Dude, it's right there. What? What? Oh, it just got deployed again. You know what? I think it nuked it when it deployed it, so I don't have to do any of this crap. We go over here, we go over here. Those are both the same. But look, it's got a green check because it actually just worked right as I was in the middle of doing that. So that's why it said those things don't exist. Because it's like, where is it? Look, there's what's here inside www-root, and then boom, here's what's there now. So problem took care of itself. Don't have to do it. Alright, so get rid of that. Let's see what we have here. Does it say Regex Live? It does! Yay! Okay. So that's fine. So I don't need this anymore, although that was cool. I may end up using it again. But we have succeeded now in an hour and a half to create the project and set up automatic deployments to Azure after a small faux pas on my part. But this is all set now. Good. So now I can just forget about all this and just work directly from Visual Studio and do the things I want to do. So we're going to go back to my issues. I have so many issues. We're going to add publish GitHub action to publish Azure. That is working. And go back to issues. Now we're back to configure ASP.NET Core identity. Judicus. So is that Regex Live's total rewrite? Yes, that is the plan. If anybody wants to help, that would be great. We'll create some issues and people could work on those. Alright, I no longer need Dev Better Web. I screwed that up well enough. I no longer need Kudu for Regex Live. I want to go back to eShop on Web because we were stealing some code from there. And it will definitely be a rewrite. Yeah, it's totally a rewrite because I'm not even looking at the original code. We'll go in here. Exceeded octatree's limit. Sorry about that. Go over here. And we stole the packages that we wanted, but we didn't steal the startup CS code that we wanted yet. So in here, I want to configure an identity context and actually a DB context as well for SQL Server. So let's do, I think I want these two things there. So we're going to go back to Visual Studio and we'll get into startup.cs, and here's my connection string and my add DB context, which is an extension method, I believe. What are you doing, Visual Studio? Visual Studio just decided to crash. TBD Gamer, afternoon, how's it going? We are just watching Visual Studio play with itself. All because I tried to go to definition on something, but I'm pretty sure it's this file right here. But I might have to kill Visual Studio. Restart. Please wait while I hang while trying to restart. That's better. Alright, so let's close all but this. And in here, we've got this add DB context that's using SQLite. I don't know that well, I like the fact that I'm encapsulating this here, so maybe I'll go paste what I want in there, which is just this use SQL Server with the connection string. So I guess all I need to do is tell here use SQL Server, and then we'll just change this and say add identity DB context as another one, and we'll come over here and we'll say let's add identity context there, and this is, I call it app identity DB context. Oh, it's okay, that's the one I want there. Okay, that goes there, and this does not go there. Use SQL Server connection string, that's all good. That doesn't exist yet, but it will. Is anyone welcome to contribute to this rewrite, or are you keeping it for your mentor group? No, it's open to anyone. So yeah, if you see an issue and you want to add a pull request, feel free. App identity DB context. Let's go borrow that from over here. Come on. Octotree is awesome when it works. Under identity folder, we're going to have this app identity DB context. It's going to look like this. So let's come into my Visual Studio infrastructure. Next to data, we're going to add identity as a folder. And we'll add a DB context as a class. Context. I think that's what I want to call it. App identity. DB context. Add. Paste. App identity DB context. Blah blah blah. Install package that. And you should be in there. Octotree and Dark Theme really need to be a part of GitHub. They do. What do I need to get? Application. I don't have an application user. That's why. Alright, so in here, do I create application user right there? Yep. And it's just identity user. So, come back here, drop that right there, move it to its own file, and did that pull in a namespace it wanted? Nope, but now it did. I have to build that. What did we miss? This needs a namespace. Maybe? What's wrong with you? I said app and I meant add. That's better. Alright, so now we've got identity. What else is in here that might be interesting? DB context seed. I could create a seed to use for testing at least. That might be useful. Let's see. Sure, why not? Let's grab this and throw that in here. Goes in this folder. So we'll just drop it there. Control dot, move it to its own data file. User manager, don't have. Let's grab that. Task, let's grab that. Seed async, you're okay. I don't have any constants for these, but I probably should. So that's going to be under source core constants, authorization constants. That's fine. Let's grab that. And we'll do the same placing here in core. We'll add a new folder for constants, and we'll add a new class. Like that, and we'll paste this in. Administrators, default password, super secure. Not going to go into production with that. We hope, unless we do it accidentally. Demo users, probably fine. Use that. It doesn't need to be at Microsoft.com though. We'll say test.com, and this will be admin at test.com. Default password, it's all good. Alright, now where is that used? Over here at eShop on web, in program, there's going to be a thing that seeds. There's catalog context seed, there's identity DB context seed. So we want this whole thing here to be my main. Won't go into production with that. Yeah, how many people have said that over the years? I know, famous last words, right? But you know what, if it does go into production, like so far this is what's in production. So, you know, there's not a whole lot there for now. Alright, so in program.cs, we're currently doing migrations, and we have a scope, so let's see. I don't need all this, I need inside the scope, I'm getting a logger, and then I'm doing some work. So in here, inside the scope, database created, seed data initialize. Alright. This is a little bit different than what that's doing. I think I need these only here. And that's going to need some namespaces. And some more namespaces. App identity. Okay. This thing is not async at the moment. This one is async. So, async static task, is that all I need? There we go, now you're happy. Let's keep that. There's a package I need for that too, isn't it? Would it be safer to make the domain match the website domain? Instead of just some random @test.com, maybe. But I don't actually have any email set up for regixlab.com, so I mean there is no MX record for it, so it doesn't really matter. And then there's some domains that are reserved for testing. I want to say test.com was one of them. I could be mistaken on that. Test.com, is that a real thing? No, that's a real thing. Yeah, they probably don't appreciate me using their thing. Let's see. TLDs reserved for testing. The name test is a TLD. It's no testing of software. It's reserved. Okay, so .test as a top level one is good. I thought there was a second level one too. But maybe if we go into our seed here, and instead of saying test.com, we do regxlib.test. That should be better. I'm never going to remember this, but we'll try it. And I should probably use the same thing in each place. So we're smart, I would say string default user name equals that, like I did 2 lines lower, and then we'll just use those. How about that? That's better. Totally won't remember that, but it's alright. Alright, so in here, Azure Web App Diagnostics, there's a NuGet package for that. NuGet package Azure logging diagnostics. Microsoft extensions logging Azure app services. That's the one. So package reference, copy that, come over here, paste that, I guess here. I don't really need it to be this weird preview one, do I? Oh, that's just what the search brought back. Okay. 315 seems to be the one I want. Copy that. Paste that. Build. And then we'll just need a using statement, hopefully. Task. Okay, we need that. And that magically works now. That's good. Alright, so can we run it? It's on my other screen. It's waiting. And there it goes. Alright, I think it took a while because it was timing out trying to talk to a database. Yeah, here we go. So it can't find my SQL Server because I don't have one, but it did work. So that's good. So let's do a quick commit and let's get a new branch going. Branch, new branch, Ardalis, configure, identity. Create that branch. Go here. Code reads better now. That's true. What are we doing here? Adding identity and seed stuff. Commit. Alright. And let's go ahead and sync that. Okay. So this context database, that migrated the, well, that didn't do anything. Ensure created theoretically creates the database for the connection string that I've got for appdb context. The connection string is currently over here in my seed. That's the wrong one. It's app identity. Not seed. Startup setup. So it's this connection string that gets passed in. Add DB context, add identity DB context. Go back to startup. Where it is called. Connection string is SQLite connection. That needs to be a SQL Server connection. Default connection is local DB regex lib. That sounds good. I don't want a SQLite connection, honestly, so we'll get rid of that. But we will want a separate regex lib identity database, I think. Or I could just point them both at the same one. Wouldn't really hurt anything. Default identity connection. Am I going to use single sign-on or anything with this or anything else? Probably not. We'll point them both at the same one for now. But we'll have different connection strings just to give me the option. Alright, so then in program.cs, I want those, I need the name of this thing is default connection. So in startup, we want that, which is really that. So just pull that back in, alright. We'll say string identity connection string equals configuration dot get connection string of that. But we added identity like that. Now we're going to say add DB context there. Services.add identity DB context. Identity connection string like that. And that should be good. And where's my other here? So now Control F5. I didn't do ensure database on both of them, so it's still going to time out on one of them at least. Alright, where's my output? Here. Clear that. It did run. Alright, let's shut that down. Exit. Close that. Try it again. This time, let me add another, where's program? Another one of these. Context equals that. That's fine. Let's add identity db context seed. But I need to ensure created on that. So var identity context equals services.get required service of app identity db context. Now I've got that. This is apparently okay. So identity context dot database dot ensure created should do that. And then this seed should work. Let's find out. I'm not sure that ensure created is going to do it. Yeah, you're timing out. Unknown error. Network SQL Server didn't work. Error occurred seeding the database. So one of these worked and one of these didn't, it looks like. Line 30. So that failed. Let's do SQL Server Object Explorer. See, local DB database, nothing there. App settings is saying local DB backslash v11, which I don't necessarily have. That seems old. So let's make this local DB projects v13, I guess. Backslash projects v13 backslash projects v13. Can you do ensure created twice if it's the same connection string? Well, I wasn't trying to use the same connection string, did I? Ensure created on context, ensure created on identity. Oh wait, they are the same, aren't they? Yeah. I don't know, that might cause problems. You're right. We'll find out. So far it's failing here. Let's actually just debug it and see what it does. Okay, so I'm just going to step over this and see if it blows up. That might have worked. Yeah, I didn't see an exception, so let's just continue, 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 and here's where you say it might blow up, but it didn't. Continue all the way, and wait for it. Like, I don't have any migrations in here yet, which I might need, so I'm not sure this is totally going to work. Did the page load? I think we're good. So let me stop this. Let's go look at my database now. Hit refresh. Did we create anything? There's a regex live database, and it has my to-do items in it. And not much else. So I think somewhere along the line I need to create migrations for identity DB context. Right? And then run them. Yeah, so if we go out to eShop on web again, let's keep that tab. eShop on web. I have some handy scripts in the root that we can run. down here. In the root, I mean in the README. So install .NET-EF and then restore and then do .NET-EF database update these things using the migrations that are already there. But if we need to create the migrations, which we do, then we need to use these scripts and they will do what we want. So let's copy that and go to the web folder. There. Alright, and then let's go back to Notepad and delete that and paste that and say we're going to create .NET-EF migrations, add initial model. Context is appdb context, which is in .whack regex live dot infrastructure slash that dash s regex live dot web. That's all good. So copy that onto that and copy that onto that and that, and app identity DB context sounds right, so grab all this, paste it here, see what it does. Now if this works, I'm going to save it in my own README file again so I can use it again. Bingo. Alright, so these types of scripts are nice to keep around. Go here, go into the code, and I just throw them right in the README a lot of the time, so why not? Migration scripts. Like that. Because they seem to work. Now I don't need this anymore. And go back to Visual Studio and refresh this. Maybe. No, still the same thing. Is that because I have the migrations? Yeah. And I have the identity migrations? Yeah. And these are on ASP.NET roles and such. So I just have to apply the migrations now. And that's where this comes into play. So copy that. And now I need Notepad again, because we're going to paste that there. And this is now appdb context. And this is regex live dot. Copy, paste, 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 paste. App identity DB context. Okay. Copy that. Here we're going to update the databases. That didn't work. I already have to-do items in the database. But this other one worked. Okay. Well, that's probably not the end of the world. Before we commit that, let's go look at the database. So refresh and open it up again. And then now we should have more tables, and we have all our identity tables, so that's going to be good enough for me. Let's go back here, let's edit this. This is create migrations, and then this is apply migrations. Like that, and update this again. Okay. Now we should be able to run, and it should be able to connect to the database, because it exists. So if we Control F5 here and try and run the site, it launches faster, and if we check the output from here, there's no longer any errors about connecting. Well, there is an error here though. It says autofac cannot component not registered identity user manager. Okay, so I must be missing something still in startup. when I'm registering everything. But not enough to kill the whole app. Let's close everything. Let's go back to startup. What am I missing? I'm adding the identity DB context, but I never actually added identity, so that's a problem. eShop on web. Let's get back into startup, and let's grab the identity line of code that we need, which is going to be right there. Services.add identity. Copy that. We're almost done. We got our DB contexts right there, so this goes right here. We have an application user, which is using the default there. Identity role is the default Microsoft one. And everything else is happy, I think. Why are you not lined up? Here we go. Alright, let's try one more time. And we're past 2 o'clock now, so hopefully we're done here soon. That ran. And our output now should be pretty close to good. No errors. Alright. So then I can scaffold my identity stuff, I think. If I remember how that works. I'm going to add new scaffolded item. Identity, add. I'm not sure I even need to do that though. Maybe I can just use it without scaffolding it. So I think I should be able to. Let me go look at eShop one more time. So if we go look at eShop on web and start looking at its views for login, shared layout. On the layout page, there's this login partial in the header. Alright, we won't put it in the header, we'll just put it in our main page here. Login partial there. And then this needs to come from here. This is a shared login partial. Does this work on a page? I hope so. Copy all that. Put it into pages. Add new folder. Shared. Create a new thing in here. Add a new Razor page. Add login partial. Don't need a code behind. I just want that. And none of that. And is that going to work for me? This thing was a underscore login partial dot cshtml. That's what you are too. I think that'll work. Let's see, does this thing use anything else? Uses basket, whatever that is. Component, I don't have a basket component. That's not going to work. Let's do a comment on that. ASP area identity account, that should work. And let's comment that too. There we go. Do you have the Azure SQL DB and configuration on Azure? Otherwise, next time we push, it's going to break everything. It is going to break everything. I don't have any of that set up on Azure yet. I need to create a database server, a SQL Azure, all the things. So yeah, none of that's there yet. But it'll get there. For now, this is just going to work locally. Dealing with database updates on Azure gets more complicated, but we'll work toward that. All right, for now, let's just see if I can get this login to work locally. I'm hoping we'll have a login thing, and that we can go here, and we can say whatever I seeded, because that should have worked. So identity context seed we decided was going to be demo user regixlab.test. Right, that's that. And then our password was just going to be pass@word1. And let's do that there. And let's log in. And sure. And that might have worked. I don't know. Be good if we could tell if you were logged in. Say like, welcome back Steve or something. Let's go back to eShop on web. Shared layout. There's an authorized tag helper or something in here, isn't there? So login partial. Login partial shows, I guess I just have to go into my login partial and have that do it. So in here, there's this whole section, and it says if you're logged in, if you're in roles, show all this, which we're not showing any of, else just show login. And we're still just showing login, right? You would tell me if you weren't working though, wouldn't you? Whole other stream there than just setting up the database. Yeah, definitely, Simon. You should really let me know if you're not working, right? Let's go look at our data. See if I have any data in there for that seeded data. Because there should be some ASP.NET users in there. And there are. Admin is still at regixlive. Regixlive. Okay, demo user at regixlive.test. So I've got the data. Demo user, regixlive test. And admin's the same. Same password. It seems like logging in is working. Let's try registering as a new user. That worked. Alright, so login seems to work. I just can't seem to get it to show me anything different on the page. So there must be an issue with the login partial that I copied. Form identity, context user identity is authenticated. Let's do inspect element. So it has this whole section in there. The ESH identity section. That's that and that. And then, is that here too though? It's that and that, yeah. So this, it seems to be showing this every time, so it seems like it doesn't know I'm authenticated. Do I have to do something with my cookies? Is it maybe not persisting it there? Application, cookies, here. There's my ASP.NET Core, anti-forgery, session ID. There should be a token for identity, right? Did I miss a step? So this configure cookie settings might be what I need. Let's steal this. This is my application cookie that I'm going to need. And I know this works on eShop on web, so maybe I'll just steal this code. Go back to startup. Configure services has a configure cookie policy options already, but it's not nearly as big as what I've got, so let's pull that out and put in this method. Configure cookie settings. Throw that back in there. Like that. Maybe something you need to do in the code behind. Maybe. I don't have a code behind now. Maybe I should though. Time span. Like if I go back to eShop on web and we look at that login partial, I don't think there is a code behind. Shared. Like there's the whole thing. Login partial CSHTML. There is no anything else. Validation scripts partial. Do I need that? I don't think I do. No. Basket component. I'm not using that. I commented that out. Don't need that. Cookie consent. Maybe I need that. It's possible I'm going to need that because of the cookie features. I'm not sure where that gets called. Probably in layout. Nope. Yeah, something calls cookie consent. I'm not sure where that comes from. I'll have to figure that out if this doesn't work. Alright, so here, what are we doing? Policy options, same site, HTTP only, lasts for an hour. Hopefully that all works. Let's try this. PJ Reddick, thanks for following. Alright, let's log in. Let's log in with that. It's still doing the same thing. It's not failing. Let's see if I can make it fail. Yeah, so it knows if I don't log in. It just seems that the cookie or whatever is not working. Because I can hit this and it succeeds, but then it still wants to show me login. So that's relatively minor. Let's go ahead and call it a day though today. I think we made some good progress. So let's come and update my issues. All links to regex advice. Well, yeah, that's because that site hasn't existed in a while. So we won't add those to the new site. If you look in the Wayback Machine, you might see when that last worked. And in here, what's our progress? I won't say everything is working. Configured locally mostly works, but site doesn't show user as logged in. Let's see. Need to configure SQL on Azure before deploying. Site will work. Let's comment there. Let's make sure we're on a different branch for identity. We are. Let's commit our changes. We'll keep it on that separate branch for now. Not do a pull request just yet. We'll go here and see added migrations and configured login partial, verified, working locally. Commit all the things. Yeah, the cookie thing is part of GDPR, Junicus. That's correct. And I think this is what we need as part of that. This cookie policy, though, is what's going to trigger that thing appearing. This line determines whether user consent is needed for a given request, and it defaults to true, which I could probably default it to false. I don't know. I gotta figure that out. The whole GDPR thing is a little bit annoying. It's like every single site uses cookies. All you've done is make it so every user has to click a X every time they go to a site. It's just stupid. But it wasn't up to me. And cookies can be bad too, so it's not really an easy way to win. Best thing would be if browsers just disabled cross-site cookies, but then things like single sign-on wouldn't work either, so it's not an easy problem. Anyway, let's go find who is online for us to raid. How about that? So here's my Twitch, and we can say we're going to raid somebody. Inception. Where's the link to raid? There it is. Raid a channel. And let's hit up Ed. Usually as soon as I raid Ed, he decides to go offline. So it's right there. So we're going to raid Ed. I'll catch you guys next week. Check out the regixlive.com repo. Star it if you want to see what's going on with it. Feel free to talk to me on the issues about anything you want to do to help out. And hopefully next week I'll work on it some more. So, see you later. And we're going to go in 5, 4, 3, go.